February the 18th, 2014. Guys, this is the latest images on SETI. Notice it goes up to the 15th. There's a few days delay before you get the processed images. But that's linear coming in. You've got Mars and you've got Venus there. Now, when we look at the red camera, which we're going to do, we're moving to the right of this camera. In other words, same satellite. That blue camera is catching the outer field. When we move to the red camera, you'll notice Venus will be to the left. Then you'll see Earth to the right of that. I'll show you that. That's what the differences you're seeing. Here you're seeing the outer view. To the left, that black square is the wingtip of the spacecraft, SETI, or Stereo A. Now, here is Comet Linear coming in the top. See that, guys? That's a large object. Now, we don't see a big tail or anything like that yet. One reason it's not a sun diver. But again, it will be May the 6th before it has its closest approach. And before then, we will probably see some flaring. We'll see about that. They say it's an old comet. Maybe not as dense anymore, which would make it more fragile, more likely to break apart. Now, we've just the same satellite, different camera. We moved right. Venus was all the way to the right in the blue camera. Remember, now it's to the left. You see Venus, Earth, Mercury coming in on the right. Now, we saw this with iSun when we could see certain pieces of the rocks right after it came around during a solar flare. We talked about this with Michael on his show the other day. And that's what I'm going to show you how that occurs here. There's an object that you don't normally see, but as Mercury comes into the right, the solar flare is going to pass by and you're going to see something moving there. You don't normally see it, but if you were watching something from Earth that was only visible during times like this, like we've talked about, this may be it. Now, again, why are there telescopes pointed up? Millions of dollars, billions of dollars worth of equipment, technology, some infrared, where you can only see heat, not light. But there it is right there. During the solar flare, you can see it. You can pause this, back it up, but it's definitely there, but only exposed at certain times. Watch right there in the blue arrow as it steps through. Now, guys, I want to talk about comet sighting spring a minute because it's very important. I'm not changing to the subject at all. This is the subject. The comet will come 173,000 kilometers from Mars' surface. According to the study, it could get even as close as 89,000 kilometers. Now, for comparison, the closest a comet has come to Earth in recorded history was 3.5 million kilometers. And that was in 1770, says Bill Cook of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, think about this, 3.5 million kilometers. Guys, that is about 2.17 million miles. Okay? That's the closest a comet has come in recorded history to Earth. Now, we know that there's been objects that have come close and left debris trails, and some that have shattered and left craters on the moon and the Earth. But here's a breakdown. 3.5 million kilometers is 2.174 million miles from Earth. Linear's debris field is over 2 million miles. Now, Linear is coming half that distance, okay? Just over 1 million miles. This makes Linear the closest ever. Why are they not talking about it? Well, you don't have about 7 billion people on Mars to panic, okay? But they can talk about this. So we need to pay very close attention to the writing in between the lines. At that distance, the comet's coma, halo of gas and rocks that surrounds it, can stretch to hundreds, thousands of miles, and they talk about completely engulfing Mars and its moons. Now, say the velocity of the comet passing Mars can be a threat to MAVEN. That's the new satellite we watched as they're sending it out there, guys. And the spacecraft on the ground, the Curiosity rover, may be in for a brilliant show. They're talking about creating a meteor shower with potentially millions of meteors per hour. Are you listening? The joint experiment of using radio waves to probe the ionosphere and cameras to document how active the meteor shower is. That is something to look forward, he says. Now, Bill Cook says, if I could have my druthers, I'd love to be on the surface of Mars for this event. It will probably be the most intense meteor storm on record. What about the 3 days we're going to go through the meteor storm of Comet Linear? Closest one to ever come to Earth, Bill Cook. Is it because you can't say anything? Probably. But don't you guys not think you need to do a report as detailed as the one you're doing about Mars and its comet that's coming there, and the one that's coming here to Linear in May, before this comet gets to Mars, and on October 19th, the beginning of the Feast of Trumpets in Israel, around the world? What's the deal? Heads up.